If you feel unmotivated, if you feel a little bit depressed, if you feel like you don't know what to do with your life, I bet it's because you don't have a goal. Why would you be motivated if you're not going anywhere? When you don't have a goal, how do you know if you're making good decisions or bad decisions? How do you know if the decisions you're making are wasting your time or actually using your time productively? You don't. That's why having a goal is so important, because it allows you to improve your decision-making process and it gives you confidence when you make a decision. That way you're not constantly second guessing whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing. There is a lot of people that value avoiding the pain of failure much more than they value being rich, successful, and happy, honestly speaking. And it's a form of programming. And you know what I blame? I blame the school system. Failure is required to give us the motivation we need to actually get better so we can get what we really want. Here's the biggest mistake that people make, which keeps them from living the life that they can potentially live. They don't set goals, and there's multiple reasons why they don't. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you exactly why you need to set goals, why it's so important, and why so many people don't do them, and why you should avoid those excuses and justifications, because without the right goals, without the right vision, you'll never have the life that you want. My name is Nima Attar, and in today's video, I'm doing a training for over 500 of my associates where I'm talking about goal setting and achieving. Now, the full training is an hour and a half, but I'm taking a 10-15 minute snippet of it where I'm talking about why it's so important to set goals and why some people avoid it and how to overcome those excuses and justifications. The number one reason why people don't create a compelling future for themselves is because they're afraid of failure. The number one reason, all the reasons that they come up with to tell you this is why I don't set goals, this is why I don't do it, all comes back to fear. Fear of failure and fear of disappointment. And I'm gonna come to this in a second and we're gonna talk about it, but that's why I wanted to share that with all of you, because I genuinely believe in all human beings. Everyone has their own talent and greatness, but isn't it a shame that so many people die without ever finding their talent or their greatness? And my goal, my purpose in life is to inspire people to go after what they want so they can become the best version of themselves. So let's talk about why you need to set goals. Here's the first reason. It gives you direction and focus. If you don't know where you're going nowhere. Let's actually talk about it for a second. If your friend drives by your house, calls you and goes, hey, come downstairs, and you go downstairs and say, let's go. And then you go, where are we going? And they go, I don't know, let's just go. Now, some of you are adventurous and you have nothing to do with your life, so you'll go. And by the way, I have nothing against you. Good for you. Okay, you're in that time of your life, you got nothing to do. You're like, whatever, it's better than what I was doing before. But most people wouldn't get in that car because they don't know where they're going. They don't know how long it's gonna be before they get there. They don't know what kind of clothes they should pack. So that's why it's so important to have a goal, because it gives you direction. It gives you something to actually focus on. It gives you a reason to wake up. Here's another reason, motivation. If you feel unmotivated, if you feel a little bit depressed, if you feel like you don't know what to do with your life, I bet it's because you don't have a goal. Why would you be motivated if you're not going anywhere? Why would you wake up early in the morning if you have nothing to do? I know you have a job, but your job is to just survive, no? I know you go to school, but if you have no goals to going to school and you're just going because you want to impress your Persian parents or whatever, it's not a goal. But we're laughing, but let's be honest. Most people do things just to do them. They go to a job just to pay the bills. They go to school just to make their friends and family members happy, even though they don't really know why they're going. I mean, they'll tell you, yeah, I want to start a business, but they don't even know what they're talking about. You know how I know? Because I was one of those kids at some point, and so were you. That's a reality. Now, if there are some younger people that really figured it out, awesome. But for me, when I was going to school, I looked around, I'm like, no one knows why they're here, including me. We're just here so that people don't think we're going to be homeless. That's what I realized. And that's why I'm like, I need to drop. And some of the kids were like, well, we're figuring out what we want to do by being here. I'm like, you're figuring out what you want to do by sitting in a classroom and taking useless information? How you figure out what you want to do is by going and doing it. Well, Nima, how do I know if I want to be a doctor? Go work at a doctor's office for a year. Volunteer, right, for free. People take free employees all the time, no problem. You go to a doctor and go, hey, I just want to work here for free. Is that possible? And just watch their lifestyle. Watch how they enjoy what they do. Maybe interview them once in a while. Hey, I got a question. How did you like your day today? Is that not a bad, wouldn't that be a good idea before you go through 12 years of education and invest $500,000? Wouldn't it be a good idea to go to a construction site and work alongside a project manager before you go through all the years of schooling before becoming a project manager? Yeah. See, you don't know what you want to do by studying it. You know what you want to do by doing it or watching someone else do it and figuring out, is this what I want my day-to-day look like? That's a reality of it. Now look, no one comes and tells us this, no one teaches us this as young people, so we just kind of go with the flow. But after a year of being in university, I kind of looked around, I'm like, I don't want to waste my time here anymore. And I dropped out, and then I came to my goal of wanting to start a business, and I'll talk about that in a second, and then I went towards it. But back then I wasn't motivated. As motivated as you see me now, back then I wasn't motivated. And honestly, I was a little bit depressed. Because after I failed to become a professional soccer player, I didn't really have direction in my life anymore. I didn't really know why I was, waking up and getting after what? For me, I found that I'm someone who's happiest when I'm chasing a goal that is helping me grow and challenging me. Is that clear for you? Yeah. And you might be the same. So it's gonna help motivate you. It's gonna help give you some purpose. And we're gonna talk about how you create a purpose in a second here. Here's another thing. It gives you a way to measure your progress. Whether you have a fitness and health goal, whether you have a goal of a certain income that you want or a certain amount of savings, whatever your goal is, it gives you a way to progress. It gives you a way to measure that progress. If you want to be a better musician, you have a way to measure progress now. So by having that, now you know if you're actually getting closer or farther. If we want to go to, let's say, Kelowna, okay, and we don't know how to get to Kelowna, what is the first step? For us to put into the navigation system, yes or no? Yes. What is the navigation system supposed to do? It's supposed to give us an idea how close we're getting to our destination or not. When you don't have a goal in life, how do you know if you're getting close to something or not close to it? And here's the last thing, and in my opinion, the most important reason why you should have a goal. It improves your decision-making process. Many of you decided to join our business, and I'm thankful that you're here. I'm sure you'll succeed. You're in the right place. If you have a goal, making that decision is a lot easier. It's hard to know what to say yes to and what to say no to if you don't have any goals to measure it by. When you're driving and you have a navigation system and you have a target on that navigation system, now you know when you should take a right, when you should take a left. You also know when you went the wrong way and you got to do a U-turn. Yes. Is that clear? Yes. But when you don't have a goal, how do you know if you're making good decisions or bad decisions? How do you know if the decisions you're making are wasting your time or actually using your time productively? You don't. That's why having a goal is so important. Because it allows you to improve your decision-making process and it gives you confidence when you make a decision. That way you're not constantly second-guessing whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing. You know why people quit things so often? Because they don't know why they got into it in the first place. Most people just get into stuff for no reason, and that's why they quit when things get hard. Because why am I here in the first place? That was me with university. I had no reason to be there, so as soon as I got bored, I'm like, I don't know why I'm staying here. And I left. Now let's talk about why people don't set goals. Let's talk about what keeps them from. So we already touched on the first one. Fear of failure and wanting to avoid disappointments. When we say avoid disappointments, is that talking from memory or imagination? See, the person goes, I remember I set these goals and they didn't happen and I felt bad after. And because I felt bad, I don't want to set another goal because I don't want to feel bad again. And some people have such a fear of failure where they go, what if I set this goal and I fail? And for them, they value avoiding the feeling of failure more than they value getting better results in their life. There is a lot of people that value avoiding the pain of failure much more than they value being rich, successful, and happy, honestly speaking. And it's a form of programming. And you know what I blame? I blame the school system. You know why I blame the school system? Because when we were babies and we were learning how to walk, no one gave us an F when we fell. Any of you got any of your parents gave us F, you fell. Like you're a toddler. Failure. Is that what they did? No more walking for you, only wheelchairs. Is that how your walking experience was? Or did somebody just, watch you fail, clap for you, pick you back up, told you to keep going until you learn to walk? But either way, when you're learning how to bike, you fell, right? Maybe you cried, maybe you scraped your knees a little bit, but you got back up and kept trying because your friends were like, dude, it's okay, we fell too. Your parents were like, it's okay, we fell too, it's normal, keep going. But then as soon as we got into school, what happened? If you fail, we'll send you back. We'll embarrass you. We'll make sure you're ashamed. We'll tell your parents. And then they'll be ashamed in you as well. Isn't that the experience? Yeah. The nightmare is failure. Not trying over and over again until you succeed. But what if I fail that one time and my teacher embarrasses me in front of all the other students? Embarrasses me in front of my parents? What if they send me back and I'm going to be a loser and a stupid person for the rest of my life? That's what the school system really did. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know if there's a reason for them doing it that way or not. But the reality is in life, you're given the test and then the lesson. In the school system, you're given the lesson and then the test. But then you know what happens to most people? That's how they expect the rest of their life to be. They go, before I start a business, I want all the lessons of business. That's not how it works. The way you learn business is by the same way you learn how to walk. You're going to do this. You're going to have a rough idea of what you need to do. And then you're going to fail and make mistakes until you learn how to do business. Just like with learning how to play the guitar, just like with fitness, just like with anything else. So here's what you need to know. In order to overcome this fear of failure that we're all programmed with, you have to change your perspective on what failure actually means. To me, failure is a stepping stone to success, not a detour away from it. It's not like, oh, I failed, so now I'm going the wrong way, and if I succeed, I'm going the right way. It's like, I failed, that means I'm going the right way. So I gotta just keep failing until I finally succeed. Do you think when I started my YouTube channel and Instagram, all the videos were perfect? No, they were not that good. If you go look back, there's a lot of problems in it. There's a lot of mistakes in it. But how would I have known what things that I had to get better at or what mistakes I had to resolve if I never failed in the first place? By the way, why would you get better if you don't fail? Actually think about it. If every time you did something, you succeeded right away, how do you get better? Is it even possible? See, I gotta come and do a session. I gotta suck at it. People have to kind of go, wow, that was not that good. And then I gotta go feel a little bit bad and go, next time I'm gonna be more prepared. Next time I'm gonna come out and do this and that. Instead, that's how I get better and better. If I come here and immediately it's a standing ovation, then I just go home and go, I'm gifted and I never need to work on it again. Failure is required to give us the motivation we need to actually get better so we can get what we really want. You know what's the worst thing that could happen to someone? Premature success. Nothing is worse than premature success. Nothing is worse than beginner's luck because it gives you this fake confidence that eventually gets you either because you never reach your full potential or because once you fail, you can never go back because you had this ego built up that you just naturally gifted God. But you know what I love? When I have someone in our business, I love the person who fails over and over again and keeps coming back. You know who I'm looking for? I'm not looking for the person who comes here and books 20 meetings right away, gets all the closes, gets licensed within a week. I'm looking for that person who sucks at everything in the business, but they just can't quit. They just don't have it in them to quit. They just keep coming back for more. And I'm like, this person's gonna build millions of dollars here because I know their character now is someone that nothing will stop them. But that person that succeed, whether it's because they got a little lucky, whether it's because they had some past experiences that helped them, they haven't been tested yet. And I'm watching and I'm going, let's see what happens when the no's come. Let's see what happens when the team members quit. Let's see what happens when roses are not, all red and the rainbows aren't out and everyone's not high-fiving them. Let's see what happens when they start losing because that's when I'm going to find out if they're a champion or if they're just someone who had beginner's luck and they're going to quit pretty soon here. Does that make sense to you? Yes. So for me, I'm so programmed to believe failure is good that I admire and I'm inspired by people who fail over and over again but don't quit. By the way, here's another thing. How do you define who's a failure and who's a success? See, here's my definition. I'll give you my definition and you can steal mine. I think it's a pretty good one. A successful person is someone who's pursuing a worthy goal and striving to be a better person along the way. Striving to be a better version of themselves along the way. I don't care how much money they make or don't make. I don't care how successful they become or don't become at their endeavor. I'm looking for someone who's chasing a worthy goal that is gonna make them a better version of themselves by being on that journey and on that path. You know who's a failure? Somebody who stops striving to be a better version of themselves. By the way, it doesn't matter. You could be learning how to garden. You could be learning how to play a new instrument. You could be learning to be a better parent. It doesn't matter what you're learning. But if you're not striving and learning new things and growing from that, then in my opinion, you're a complete failure. I don't care how much money you have or how much success you had in the past. Success is not something you own. Success can only be rented, and the rent is due every single day. So I shouldn't say no one cares. I mean, you're respected for the things you've done in the past. But what you've done in the past has no reflection of your future. So if you stop getting after it, if you stop growing, if you stop trying to be a better version of you, then to me, you're a failure now. Maybe you were a success before, but now you're a failure. Last session when I talked about the zombies are failures in my opinion. They're people who stopped having dreams. They're people who got down on themselves and decided that now my job in life is to make sure no one has a dream because if they do, it's a reflection on how I gave up. It's a reminder of the things that I regret. So that's a success and a failure for me. So to me, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be disappointed by. Because as long as you're pursuing it and giving it your best, you're a successful person. And when I came to this definition, it was a sigh of relief for me. Because I had this thing in my mind of constantly feeling like a failure. And if you feel like a failure, you will never become successful. So in order to get rid of that, you have to redefine what it means to be a failure and a success. And you got to make the rules a lot easier for yourself. Here's the next thing. Most people's strategy for avoiding disappointment and failure is actually a guarantee that they will be disappointed and fail. Actually think about it. What is most people's strategy to avoiding disappointment and failure? Their strategy is, I'm not going to take any risks. I'm not going to try any new things. I'm not going to get out of my comfort zones. I'm not going to go and do something that I haven't done before because I might fail or disappoint myself. But here's what I've learned in life. You can only run for so long. The predator of life will find you eventually. And here's the bad part about it. You run, you run, you run. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 60 years, 7 years, avoiding. And then all of a sudden you're on your deathbed and regret finds you. And regret is the ultimate failure. Regret is the ultimate disappointment. And at that point, there's nothing you can do about it. Because as you're laying there, you realize you didn't even live a life. You just repeated the same year over and over and over again and called it a life. New shows, new hangout spots, new picnics, new towels to set on the beach, in the same exact beach year after year. And then you go, did I even live? And then what? When you avoid pain, pain will find you. And it's a torture when it finds you. Here's what I mean by that. When you go to the gym, you're putting your body through pain. That pain is gonna help you avoid the pain of cancer, hopefully. Yep. Or other diseases, or other injuries, or other body issues, yes or no? Yes. Okay, when you go and suffer the pain of getting out of your comfort zone, of failing, of trying something new, and you're not good at it, and people make fun of you, and you eventually become successful, then you go, okay, well, I made it, I'm good. But if you don't do that, eventually a crisis happens. Eventually something happens and you go, I wish I had money. I wish I had a business. I wish I had a better physical health. I wish I had a better body. Yes or no? Yes. So whatever you avoid will eventually find you. Whatever you go towards, you can actually avoid. So if you want to avoid pain, go towards pain. Put your body under pain by going to the gym. Put your mind under pain by going through some emotional challenges, by having people's disapproval, by taking chances, by having people judge you. Is that clear? Yeah. And I promise you, by doing that, you'll avoid those things. But if you try to avoid them the way most people do, it'll find you. And when it finds you, it'll be too late. And when it's too late, no one can save you at that point. Here's the next thing. They don't want to set goals because they don't know how to achieve them. Do you know exactly how to get to Dubai? What is the first thing you do? Just actually think about it when you're planning a trip somewhere you've never gone before. You pick the destination, then you go and find out how to get there. You find out how many different planes you have to take because there might be stops. You might have to take a ferry. You might have to take a cruise. You might have to, who knows, depending on where you're going, you might have different routes. Some routes are more expensive, some are less expensive. Some fit your budget, some don't fit your budget, yes or no? It's a fear of failure again. They're using I don't know how as a way to avoid failure. It's a convenient excuse that their friends approve of. They go, you're right, you don't know how to be a millionaire, so don't even think about it. Don't go read the books, don't go talk to people, just avoid it. You know why they say that? Because they're avoiding it too. Actually, as soon as you go after it, those friends come after you like the zombies they are. You might be wondering why. It's not because they don't like you, it's because your success will be their nightmare. Your success will be their nightmare because as soon as you do achieve that goal, then they'll look around and say, how come we didn't get after it? Because see, they can make an excuse for me because they don't know me. They can make an excuse for people that they see on Instagram, YouTube, because they don't know those people. They could even make lies up like, oh, they don't have it, they're faking it. They could do all of that. But when it's their friend, their family member, who's just like them, who's one of them, that makes it, what are you gonna do then? Oh, I know what you're gonna do, you're gonna call it a scam. Right? Because what else are you going to do? Admit that they're better than you? Admit that they're mentally tougher than you? Admit that they went after it and they weren't afraid just like you were? No, because if you admit that, then you have to change. Because you're not going to admit that you're a fearful person and then sleep at night. You got to lie. You got to make up stuff. Yeah. And there's some people who are so aggressive with this, they will go through to such lengths to try to prove that that person is not actually successful. Because they can't fall asleep when they realize they do. Because there's no way all these smart, intelligent people can call something like this a scam because they're smart and intelligent. They're not idiots. But they have to call it something because what else are they going to say? Because if they admit that they could do it just like their friend did, guess what they got to do tomorrow? Quit their job and get here and get the license and start facing rejection. Now, if someone says, you know what, that's not for me, I just don't see myself doing that, that's okay. But when you're negative about it, you're running away from something. And again, you can only run away for so long. So here's the reality. Don't worry about the how, look for the who. You don't even need to know how to achieve a goal. You just need to find the person who's already achieved it. You want to be really fit? Find the person who's fit. You find that person, they'll tell you all the how-to, they'll even motivate you to do it. They'll even relate with your current problems and current challenges. Here's another thing. You can't find the how if you don't start looking. And the only time you're going to start looking is by actually having a goal in the first place. We all have something called a reticular activation system. Your reticular activation system is designed to focus only on the things that matter to you. So if I told you right now, look for things that are yellow in this room. Look, do it right now. If you're watching me on Zoom or YouTube Live, look around your room or wherever you are for things that are yellow and start identifying it. Now, as you start finding those things that are yellow, here's my question for you. Were they not there before? How come you didn't notice it? Because it wasn't important to you. It didn't matter to you. So because it didn't matter and it wasn't important to you, your reticular activation system didn't start looking for it. Imagine how many different things are going on as we speak right now. If we were to focus on all of it, we'd go nuts. So your brain has to only focus on a limited number of things in your environment that matter to you because that's relevant. So when you identify a goal and vision, your brain starts to look for that thing. It starts to look for those opportunities. This is why really smart, talented, educated, hardworking people never get rich. Because here's why. Actually think about it. Because they're looking for $50,000 a year salary. They're looking for $100,000 a year salary. They're looking for a secure job. They're smart, they're hardworking, they're capable. But they never get rich because they're only looking for this much. Why? Because somebody told them that that's available to you. Because the people around them are making $60,000, so if they make $100,000, they're a hero now. Because they think that's all that's available to them. Imagine if I take you to a room full of gold, and I'm like, you can take as much as you want. And you just take a teaspoon. You go, I'm just gonna take, that's all I want. A room full of gold. How many of you would take a truck and a few trucks? Robson will call all his friends from Brazil. Okay? Guys, bring it. Yeah. Yes or no? Yes. That's what, but that's life. Life is like a room full of gold that most people take a teaspoon to. You have not because you ask not. God doesn't stop giving, people stop receiving. These are facts. See, the reticular activation system is focused on $100,000 a year salary, $50,000 a year salary. That's why they miss all the $1 million opportunities. They see videos like this and they go, that's not for me. Who knows who this guy is? Blah. Right? Because they're not looking for this. That's the power of a reticular activation system. That's the power of looking for what you want. What you want, not what somebody told you can have, not what you think you can have from a limiting belief. Here's another thing. They believe having a goal will diminish or delay their happiness. These are our enlightened friends. Okay? And I love them. But they think, if I have a desire for something better, I can't enjoy today. Okay, that's not wrong. It's true if you've programmed yourself to only be happy once you get what you want. It's true if you've programmed yourself to believe that happiness is a future event once you get what you want. If that's the case, yes, you shouldn't even have goals and you should go figure yourself out. But let me give you some tips. Instead of avoiding having goals, just change the programming. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Achieving better financial results in your life, better health, will not make you happier. It will make you less stressed. It will make you more proud, but it will not make you happier. Happiness is an emotion that you can experience at any time in your life. Is that clear? Yes. It's a choice whether you let yourself be happy or not. No amount of money will make you happy. No amount of health will make you happy. It will only make you less stressed, which can help you be happier, and it will only make you more proud. But happiness is a choice. I was happy when I was broke, and I was just as happy when I was rich. No difference. I tell you, ask me what percentage my happiness increased. 0. My stress went down a lot. My anxiety went down a lot. My pride and my belief and my confidence in myself went up a lot. But my happiness didn't change at all. So you have to realize your goal is not meant to make you happy. It's meant to make you better. Your goals are not meant to make you happy. They're meant to make you better. They're meant to challenge you and help you evolve. The goal is the destination, but the joy is in the journey. And let me tell you something. You set a goal to achieve something in 10 years. What are you going to do? Be miserable for 10 years until you achieve it? What a weird way to live a life. You got to enjoy that 10-year journey until you get to your goal. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was complaining about his finances, and he's a go-getter. He's hardworking. He's ambitious. He wants to make it happen. He's in the right opportunity. He's working with us to become successful. You know what I told him? I said, bro, let me give you some advice. Enjoy being broke. Because once you get rich, you'll never be broke again. If you do it right, once you get rich, you'll never be broke again. So enjoy these moments. I know it sucks right now when you're broke and when you're stressed, but once you figure it out and get rich, you never go back there anyways. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience being poor and broke, if you do it right. So I'm like, enjoy it. Because sometimes I look back and I go, wow, those times were not that bad, but I kind of made it bad for myself by being discouraged instead of being grateful. It takes way longer to get there than when you get there. You work hard for years and years and years, and once you get there, it's a moment of joy. So if you just sacrifice all that happiness for that moment, what's the point of life? Learn to enjoy the journey, because that's all it's about. Guess what happens when you get a goal? When you get your goal, you'll probably come up with a new one anyways. So if you don't learn to enjoy the journey, you're only going to enjoy a few moments in your life, and that's pretty miserable. Here's the next thing when it comes to this. Learn to measure the gain, not the gap. Learn to measure the gain, not the gap. Instead of looking how far you are from your goal, look how far you've already become. So many people feel this way because they're always looking at the gap. Well, this is how far I am. This is how far I am. But what about the gain? Why don't you look at how different you are from what you were before? Why don't you look at how much you've learned so far? Some of you are sitting here, are very happy with where you're at in the business. Some of you are not so happy. But does that mean you didn't do anything worthwhile this whole time? Did you not grow? Did you not change? Did you not become better? Did you not learn something new? Focus on the gain, not the gap. Some people think if I focus on the gap, it makes me more motivated. No, it makes you more depressed. And depression does not create motivation. But when you look at the gain, when you look at what you're grateful for, when you look at how far you've gone, that's what creates motivation. That's what creates enthusiasm. That's what gives you the motivation to keep going. And here's the last thing when it comes to this. Reward yourself for taking action, not for the results. The reason I didn't quit when it was so hard was because I was rewarding myself for the daily action. Because I knew if I keep doing the right things would happen. The biggest mistake that people make is they only reward themselves for the results. I actually don't even reward myself for results. I only reward myself for taking the right actions because I know sooner or later with the right actions, the results will come. Here's the last one when it comes to this, and then we're going to go into goal setting and then goal achieving. Cool? Yes. Here's another thing that people say. I don't know what my passion or purpose is, so I can't formulate a goal. Here's the thing. A purpose is a goal that you're emotionally connected with. That's all it is. Don't make it bigger than that, right? And let me share something with you in case you're waiting. No one's coming. No one's coming. The Tooth Fairy isn't coming. Cinderella isn't coming. Okay, Robin Hood isn't coming. No one's gonna come. This is not the movies. No one's gonna come and give you a pill that makes you limitless. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to bang you on the head with a purpose. Okay, this is not Spider-Man. You're not gonna get bit by a spider and all of a sudden have a purpose to save the world. I'm just letting you know because some of you seem to be waiting. Because some of you are like, where's my purpose? It's not going to find you. You're going to find it. Your purpose is not something that finds you. It's not something that hits you on the head. It's not like, I understand that like for Newton and stuff, an apple hit him in the head. I don't know the full story there. But don't wait for the apples. If most people, an apple hits them in the head, it's a concussion. Okay? It's not, discovering gravity. So your purpose will not find you. You will find it. If you actually take the time to develop it. And a purpose is a goal that you can connect with emotionally. It's the ability for you to connect your head with your heart. Your head is the logic. It's the one that says, I want $1 million. The heart is the reasons for the $1 million. If you want $1 million, but you don't have a reason to get there, you'll never get there because the heart and the head are not connecting. The law of attraction is your ability to connect your head to your heart. To connect what you think you want with what you actually want. So if you set a goal, but you don't have a reason to achieve it, you're not going to achieve it. But the bigger the reasons are for you to achieve that goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. You know why you get discouraged? Because your reasons aren't big enough. Yes. Right? Because if you need to get rich because you need to save your family members, or you need to save someone, or you need to help someone, then what's there to get discouraged about? You got a mission. You're going to make that mission happen. Yes or no? Yes. In war, there is no funerals. When a war is happening and your friend gets shot, there is no funeral for your friend. You gotta move because if you don't move, you get shot too. When you're living on your purpose, that's what you're like. Because life's gonna happen whether you like it or not. Distractions are gonna happen, major distractions, minor distractions. In order for you to find passion, you have to stay in something long enough to see the benefits from it. Because if you keep going and doing these different things, and it sucks because you suck at it, and it's hard because you suck at it, and you keep quitting because you're like, I'm not passionate because it hurts my feelings when I get rejected. You're never going to achieve anything, and you're never going to find a passion. Because everything is hard in the beginning. Everything sucks in the beginning because you're not that good at it and it's new to you. But you got to stay there long enough to see the benefits. You got to play the guitar long enough to play one good song and see the smile on your mom's face. And then you're like, I'm passionate about guitar. Yeah. Is that clear? Yes. But if you just play it and you suck at it and your fingers hurt, then why wouldn't you quit? Now, if you want to watch the whole training, click the link that I'm going to post right here. It'll take you to our live training that was an hour and a half where I go over all the details of not only setting goals, but also exactly what you need to do to achieve them. And these are all the things that I did that helped me make 7 figures by the time I was 27, and it's allowing me to achieve all the other bigger visions that I have. Now, before you go, comment below what are your biggest takeaways from today's video, and share this with someone else who needs to hear it. Maybe it's that friend of yours who's been avoiding goal setting, who's been avoiding this topic, and maybe they need to see it to actually get on track with their life and with what they want to get done. Last but not least, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time you have a new video, and click the link right here to watch the full training.